3 years ago in 2020, I was looking to get into peer-to-peer investing, and so I downloaded Lenme, the app, and I started lending out money to 29 different individuals. Well, it's been 3 years, and I've actually had more money come into my account since then. So what I'm gonna do on the finance edition is react to my old video, and then that'll bring us up to speed so I can then show you what the app shows me now, what my actual APR was on these loans, and how much money I've actually made since then. About a year ago, I got into peer-to-peer investing because I thought it would be a good investment opportunity. Turns out, I was totally wrong. Okay, so my point here wasn't necessarily that peer-to-peer investing is the worst thing ever, but it really did beg the question. My reaction to this app was very strong, as you can see from my introduction. In a number of states, P2P lending is not allowed whatsoever. The problem in Ohio is all about potential fraud. Under the Ohio Securities Act, Ohio views the borrower as the actual issuers of the notes, not Lending Club or Prosper. Like any other notes issued to Ohio investors, they need to know that the issuer is not making any fraudulent claims. Because both Lending Club and Prosper do not verify all information entered by borrowers, they can't make no such claim. How can they? It would be virtually impossible task to verify the statements of every borrower, not just the financials, but anything stated by a borrower, and certainly one that doesn't scale. This is from lendacademy.com. Yeah, so this was a big part of my concern here, because from what I'm looking at, when I was getting into Lenme, it seemed that they didn't really have to verify any of the information that was being given to them, or at the very least, the information was suspicious. So I came at it from the perspective of, can I really trust what the Lenme app has to say? Lenme is another peer-to-peer lender, and they make it super easy. They have an app, and they allow lending and borrowing to be easy. And oh look, 200,000 users and 2.5 million loans originated and 10,000 loans. You know what I want to see here? How many of these loans have been repaid? Yeah, yep, that is still the opinion I have. You know what? Let's see what's on their website today, because this was back in 2020. Well, okay, they still have a website. I'm not surprised about that, because the app certainly still exists. And if we scroll down, it appears that they have very similar stuff as what they had 3 years ago. Okay, here's an update. They now have 500,000 users and 5.5 million loans originated and 17,000 loans. So in about 3 years, they've gone up 5 times as many users and 5 times as much money has been originated here and 17,000 loans. Again, how much money has been repaid? This is like the number one thing that they just don't have listed. It's been 3 years and they still don't say how much money has been repaid. That is just so crazy to me that this is an investing platform with which to send money to other people whom you do not know. And they only tell you how many users they have, how much money has flowed through them, and how many loans they've originated. Truly bonkers. Scratch that, they only had 200,000 users back then and they have 500,000 now. So they've only gone up 1.5 times and loans originated went up 2x. Still, in 3 years' time, they still don't say how much has been repaid. I'm going to take you behind the scenes on how much money you can make or lose using peer-to-peer lending. Let's take a look at the Lenme application. You'll also notice that it's very glitchy. I think the bugs have gotten a little bit better, but it's not like that's impressive. And I really don't know how to explain the amount of glitches that are in this application. So first up, you'll notice at the top, it shows your balance, which is how much money you have in the account. It shows total invested, which is the amount of money that you've transferred into the application and invested on their platform. And then they have an ROI that has a percentage up there. And I can assure you that that ROI of 43.27% is completely bogus. Still true. I'm going to show you guys what collections look like, and it's not pretty. Do not trust anything that this app has to tell you. For an investor, it gives you options for different users that are looking for loans. So let's look at this one from BW. And you'll see that this person is probably probably not very good at repaying their loans, because you see they have a 66% payment history. And my estimation of that is that they only pay 66% of their payments, question mark. So this is a point where I would say it looks like that Lenme was doing some type of due diligence because they showed some level of payment history. But what blew my mind about this was that it says that they have a 0% credit utilization. How is that even remotely possible? That would be equivalent to them paying off all of their credit cards every single month and then carrying no balance, and yet they're not capable of paying their bills. Because that's what payment history really means. Did they pay their bills? Were they paying the minimum payments? Otherwise, those non-payments are going to end up being reported to the credit bureau. I have learned some things in 3 years. I have a much better grasp of payment history at this point in my life. But as you can see here, it doesn't make sense for them to have a 66% payment history and also have a 0% credit utilization, have $68,000 of annual income, and then be like, I need more money, let's go get a loan. Most people would just put money on a credit card at that point, or it'd be so much better, just like go to a bank, please, just go to a bank. This person had never even done any loans. They were 0 completed loans with Lenme. Like, walk away. Walk away, person. Please don't get involved with this app. I wish I could go back and find BW and see if they completed several loans since then. I don't know. Let's take a look at someone else. Okay, so DP. So I feel like this person made a lot more sense, because what you can see here is their payment history is 100%. They pay their bills, but their credit utilization is 94%, which makes a lot more sense for somebody who's going to go to Lenme and be like, I need more money to bail myself out of this bad situation. My guess is this person has an annual income issue where they just don't make enough money to pay their bills. And so they're actually spending too much money, and then they have to put too much on their credit cards, and they never actually manage to pay down their credit cards. So here they are in Lenme trying to get a loan. But what doesn't make any sense about this is still what I said in this video, which is that their average expenses is $7,700 and their average income is $7,305. That makes no sense. How could their annual income be $28,000 yearly, but their average expenses and their average income is like the same, and $7,000 can't possibly equate per month to a $28,000 worth of annual income? It just makes no gosh darn sense. His payment history is 100%. This is what I used a year ago when I was trying to figure out a good barometer for whether or not somebody would repay a loan. I wish I knew that that was a bad barometer for whether or not somebody would pay a loan. Again, I'm not really sure if this information is actually accurate, but what I can tell you is that using 100% payment history to determine if somebody was going to actually repay a loan was apparently not that great of an indicator. I made the commitment to myself that I would only take on people who had a 100% payment history, and I had a very good reason for that. I want them to pay my loan back, clearly. I'm no longer convinced that Lenme is helping anyone. I want to show you what it looks like to offer a loan. $808.11 over 12 months. And this slides upwards percentage-wise. And you can see it gets pretty radical pretty fast. So at 200%, this person would be paying more than double. Like, could you imagine? You're like, I need an $800 loan, and instead of going to the bank, you went to Lenme and you took on like a 200% loan for $808 and ended up paying back $1,900 over a 12-month period. What? I'm honestly amazed that this app is still online and that they've never been sued. Where is the class action to sue this company? How is this remotely legal? And the thing is, you might be thinking, oh, but nobody's actually going to accept a 200% APR loan. I'd never accept a 200% APR loan on a car note or on a house note, on a house mortgage. But here you are, here looking at this, they have an app access. You most likely have access to this app, and you could create a loan either for someone else or for yourself and see if somebody would offer you a loan for $808 and then take a 200% APR loan. Like, holy cannoli. This is just radically insane that it is right here. Like, you can do that. You could do that. Anyone can do that. Anyone who has a smartphone can do that. Anyone who has an iPhone can do that. Their original amount of loan. So assuming they paid the whole thing back, the person who lended it out would be making bank, right? Maybe not. So what scared me about this app is that they're able to apply an extremely high percentage APR. And you think, well, wouldn't people just decline that percentage? Clearly, plenty of people want to give money, or rather loan money. But that's not the case. So they have this feed button at the bottom, and you can scroll through different loans that have been confirmed by lendees and lenders. And I'm just going to scroll through this for you. So I'm just going to read some of these interest rates. There's 90%, 105, 200, 87, 200, 144, 59, 99, 30, 150, 98, 27. And it just goes on and on and on. What you'll find is that most of these seem to be between 100 and 200. There were a bunch of 200. It's just so bad because you're taking a look at this and it's just like these interest rates are so gosh darn high and everybody's doing it. Everybody is giving out these loans. Everybody is accepting these loans because they're in such dire situations. And they're being taken advantage of by this app. They're being taken advantage of by the lender. And I would say that the person who is receiving this money is taking advantage of themselves as well because they are accepting this extremely high interest rate. It's just disgusting. Right there. So 8 months ago, I started looking into peer-to-peer investing very seriously. And I came across this app, and you'll see here that I currently have no pending loans because I'm not giving any out to anyone anymore. Yeah, I decided once I started seeing that some people weren't paying this back, which really didn't take very long because I originated most of these loans all within a month or two without really thinking about the potential downsides. I thought, I'm seeing money, I'm seeing green. And when you see that, it's hard to tell that you're kind of just getting greedy and you're not realizing that the downside for somebody else who might be taking on this loan. Pulled out as much money as I could from this platform, and I will never use this platform ever again, or any platform for. So that's what's really funny about this program. So I downloaded this app in like November of 2019, and I deleted this app by the end of 2020. And I since re-downloaded this app because I started getting emails from them about money in my account since the people who hadn't paid back started going into collections and into default, where I started receiving some money from the fees and sometimes a repayment or two. Usually not the whole payment or anything, just like a fee. And so I re-downloaded the app to actually see what I still had because I'm never going to use this app ever again to lend out money to anyone, and I don't think you should either. Peer lending until they get much better at it, at least. And then I have 12 that say that are current and 17 that are complete. And now I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty math of how that worked out. Only 17 of the loans completely paid back everything that they owed. Since then, I think only 2 more loans actually paid out. So it didn't get much better than that, for sure. A number of them didn't actually pay up more than the principal, just based off of looking at this. It's concerning. So amount paid, you can tell that this is where you would compare the amount, the number of months, and the amount paid. So you can even tell from just here that these top 3 that I have, I gave out 3 loans of $404, and I was paid back $734 in one of these instances. I pulled in an extra $230 of interest over that 8-month period. Like, not a small amount of interest for sure. And down here, you'll see that I have a few that didn't pay me anything whatsoever. It was $6,000, 6,000, almost 6,400, and the total outstanding was $3,041, and my net positive negative was $106.46. Yeah, not the type of profit you want to see after investing almost $6,400, right? That's right. All this for $100, which gives me a total invested profit of 1.6%. My default rate was 41%. 41% is much too high to be considered a legitimate lending service, and I wouldn't recommend anyone would do it. Like I said, I don't know why this app hasn't been taken off the market, and I don't know why they haven't been sued into obliteration, because I do not understand how it is remotely legal to have a 200% APR cap. I don't get it. Like, what's stopping them from raising the cap to 300%, 400%, 500%? Because people would actually lend that amount out and people would actually take it. If this app is any consequence, you can go on there and you can scroll and you can see how many people took a 200% APR loan. It would not shock me if people were willing to take a higher APR loan if it was offered through the platform. Peer-to-peer investing is a hard pass. So now I'm going to take you through what my Lenme account actually looks like today in 2023. So as you can see here, I've got Lenme open, and it shows me that I have my 29 loans up in the top left-hand corner, and it still looks very similar to how it looked back in the day. There's still a huge list of people who are looking to get screwed by lending money from Lenme, and it looks like they're still up to their shady games. So what you can see here is there's a payment history of 100% for MH, and it shows that their credit utilization is 0. They have 10 hard inquiries, 3 total accounts, 1 derogatory, 32,000 annual income per year. And it shows here that they have an average expenses of close to 3,900 and average income of a similar amount. And then at the bottom, once again, you can loan as expensively as you'd like, up to 200%, which is just awful. And then you can offer it to them. They can still decline, but what are the chances? So many people accept bad offers all the time. So going into how my account actually looks now, you can see pending, no loans. Well, of course not, because I haven't had any loans in 3 years. Current, of course not. Completed, well, 22 out of 29. So it's gone up at least 1, maybe 2 since back then. So there's nothing technically in collections, but in default, it shows that I have 7 loans in default, and it just goes. It just makes me sad because all 7 of these are just outrageous. And as you can see here, they're expensive. 200%, 200%, 200%, 200%, 200%, 187, 178. Like, I am not proud of this. I am not proud of having interest rates that are this high that I offered to people and they accepted, and then they took the money and then they didn't pay it back. Like, that's just terrible. Looking back at the completed, like I said, I was going to show my APR on these loans. 200%, 200%, 200, 200, 200, 187, 187, 177, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 188, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 185, 200, 200, 200. Like, it's obnoxious to me that I ever gave out these loans in the first place and that it let me give out these loans. It's just so bad that I wish I'd never given out these loans, because it's just so excruciatingly painful to look at the fact that I took this much money from somebody else because they were in such a bad spot that they needed the help. So looking at this feed, I have a list of notifications here, and you can see that I basically had them nickel and dimed from collection fees. You can see it says collection payment, collection. It just goes and goes and goes. That's all I was getting. Not usually payments, maybe a few payments, but mostly just collections. Now, on what they have here listed as the feed, that other view is the notifications, they don't show you the percent APR anymore, which I think is really interesting because it gives the idea that the APR is whatever you want it to be, or it's whatever you think it is, which is high or low, even though it can be anywhere from 3% to 200%. So instead, it says expected earnings, which is just a little bit more obfuscated. So you can see this person invested $53 and they expect to earn $8.85. I love how it says expected, like it's a for sure thing, but like maybe not. We don't really know. Which is hilarious because they know. Lenme knows how bad their platform is. They just have done nothing to curb the financial abuse from lenders and people looking for a loan. So just going down this, you can see people are just lending out lots of money, and it's just so bad. Oh gosh, look at this. AS invested $798. Their expected earnings is $1,095. That's a predatory loan right there. That's why I'm surprised that this hasn't ever been taken to court in any way, because this is just financially predatory. So anyone can go onto this app, make an account, and go and scroll through all of these just obscenely high loans. So I would just say stay far, far away. Stay far, far away of Lenme. And if you need a loan, like, goodness gracious, please consider going to some other place like a bank or SoFi, something. It's fine if you get a 4% loan, which is super low. You wouldn't get that now. It's fine if you get a 8% loan. That's fine. It's even fine if you get like a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% loan. That could be okay in a bad situation. But 36% up to 200%, please don't do it. It's just way too high. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the financial peril that you're putting yourself into. Yeah. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful for you to see transparently what my account looks like today, 3 years later. So what I can say is that back when I made the original video, it said that I'd made $100 in profit. And now I've made $600 in profit. Woohoo! It's gone up a whole $500 when I initially invested $6,000. And I've now made a 10% return, ladies and gentlemen. Just 10% in 3 years. So stay far, far away from this unless you're ready to take the potential high-risk decision of potentially losing lots of money and just freely handing it out to people. And as they say, if you don't know if you're ever going to get it paid back, it's a gift. Have a good night. Bye-bye. If you liked this video, please give it a like, and if you disliked it, give it a dislike, and please tell me in the comments what you think about peer-to-peer investing, lending, and what you think about Lenme as an application, and if there is any other peer-to-peer lending that you use, or if, like me, it's a hard pass for you as well. Let me know in the comments. Have a good night.